Did you hear something? You guys, the hat is on, okay? The July Noir shirt is on. You already know what we're here for. So I'm going to try to speak this in a lower octave. But we're going to get through this, you and I. Yes, we are. So today is the announcement video for July Noir. This year, because of life and things that's happening with me, I cannot give you 2 weeks. I can't do it. I know. Don't throw a tomato at me. Don't do it. However, some of the co-hosts for Blackoween that I have not announced yet has graciously agreed to do July Noir with us for a weekend. Yes, a weekend. We're going to be in that thing. We're going to have Kita from the Resistance Book Club. We're going to have Nell from Nell Next Chapter. And they both are going to host a reading sprint. So we're going to sprint Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you're probably like, Bree, when is this going to happen? This is going to happen July 10th through the 12th. So on the 10th, you will be sprinting with me on my channel. And I'm looking down because I wrote it down. And then on Saturday, you'll be sprinting with Nail. And then on Sunday, you'll be sprinting with Kita. But I will be joining in those sprints as well. We're just going to have different people hosting the sprints throughout the weekend. So I'm really excited because I feel like this will give us an opportunity to meet the people who will be hosting. There will be other people popping in, other hosts as well. We're also going to give you some spoilers of what's happening for Blackoween this year. So I'm really excited and I really would love for you to be there with us the weekend. So if you have never done July Noir or never done Blackoween, that is perfectly fine. I'm going to give you just a quick synopsis. Blackoween happens almost every October. It didn't happen last October officially, but unofficially, lots of you guys participated in Blackoween in October, and I thank you literally from the bottom of my heart. So Blackoween happens in October. It is a month-long readathon that really uplifts Black authors who write spooky shit, and it also uplifts Indigenous writers as well. The primary focus is Black authors because it is called Blackoween. So the genres that you want to think about when you're thinking about what I want to read for Blackoween is horror, it is suspense, it is mystery, it is thriller. However, there is a component of Blackoween that is called Toulas Parish. It is a town that I created that was beautifully drawn by Melanin Eclectic. I will put her handle down in the description box below. But it is a town that is called Toulas Parish. And Toulas Parish is a spooky love story to New Orleans, which is where I'm from. So Toulas Parish has 7 locations and it has 3 roles. And the first role is amateur share, the second one is detective bantam, and the third one is investigator thorough. And when you're participating in Blackoween asks you to choose a role and choose a location. And each role has a certain amount of prompts that you would have to complete in order to say that you successfully, explored that part of Toulas Parish. But however, for July Noir, your role is already chosen for you. Everyone is going to be investigator thorough, and all 5 to 6 prompts has to be completed. So you can choose wherever you want to be in Toulas Parish. Maybe you want to holler at Sheila's Kitchen. Maybe you're into a lot of paranormal romance. That's the newest location I created for Blackoween in remembrance of my mother who passed away. So she really, really loved romance. So I wanted to give the romance girlies a little area for them to thrive in. Maybe you're into books and horror and mystery and thriller that have to do with time manipulation. You go holla at Laissez-Faire Streetcar. Maybe you're into books that has to do with location or a house and some spooky or horrific element is happening. Then you holla at Bayou Haunted House. Maybe you're into books that really focus on men and crime fiction. Then you go to Joe's Library. Maybe you're into like the more horror or body horror or just like horrific parts of the spooky genres. Then you holla at Saint Treme Graveyard. Maybe you into something that has to do with more middle grade, more children, more young adult. Then you holler at Ruby's Crew Park, which if you are familiar with Ruby Bridges, that is what this location is playing homage to. Maybe cozy mystery is your thing. It's not always my thing. I just gotta be honest about that. But maybe it's your thing, and if it is your thing, you can holler at Noir Apothecary. That is where the cozies love to be. They love to be over there. So get your ass over there. So again, to participate in July Noir, you already know your role. You are Investigator Thorough. Whichever location that you choose, there are 5 prompts for each location. Once you figure out which location you want to do, make sure you find a book. 1 book would suffice. Or 2 books, it's a weekend. Or 2 books, 3 books, it's whatever you want to read. But make sure they fit that prompt. So if you're like, okay, Brie, I don't know what the prompts are. Let me get them for you right now. I remember my locations by heart. I don't remember all the prompts, so bear with you, girl. Bear with me. For Bayou Haunted House, it's a possession story is the first prompt, then a ghost story, a haunted house in the South, a book with house or mansion, estate, or home in the title, and a medium or spiritual leader kind of element. While I'm saying all the prompts for each location and you're like, you only said 5, 6th one is a free space, so you can just think of anything, or it doesn't have to really count for a prompt. I just wanted it to be a free space. Saint Treme, there is a Of the Night vibes, horror, a deal is made, a murder with multiple POVs, book with body parts, ancestral knowledge. Those are the prompts you want to focus on. For Joe's Library, there's a historical reference of some sort. It's crime fiction, a book written by an indigenous man, a book written by a black man, a musical element. And remember, for Investigator Thorough, you only need to complete 5 to 6 prompts. So you could do all of these prompts and just choose an indigenous writer who's a man. You can do all these prompts and just choose a black man. Just 5 out of the 6 prompts matters. For Saint Treme Graveyard, you can do Of the Night vibe / horror, a deal is made, a murder with multiple POVs, book with body parts, ancestral knowledge, and again, that free space. For Ruby's Crew Park, a book that has root magic, strong friendships set in the summer or spring, character with a infection, secrets, free space. A lot of y'all get really creative with the characters with an infection, and I'm going to let your creativity live on. I'm talking about breathe. I'm talking about create space, take up space. The next location is Laissez-Faire Streetcar. In this location, you want a book that has time manipulation, unreliable narrator, a black classic, if you will. You can do that if you want to. There are a lot of spooky black classics out there. You also want a book that has traveling. Traveling is also a prompt that you can really be creative on. Is traveling from one room to another, one location to another, one country to another, one town to another. It's that person's spirit traveling. There's a lot of black horror that has those moments in it. Also, you want to have a book that has a non-American author. That's a Caribbean author. That's an author throughout the continent of Africa. There is authors who are African or African descent that live in Brazil, that live throughout the continent of Europe. Really expand your mind there. and also a free space as well. So this one, you can definitely just make it your oyster as well. And then for Shishi Kitchen, like I mentioned earlier, the one that pays homage to my mother. In Shishi Kitchen, you want a book that has a historical or spooky or romance section of it. You want a backlisted romance. There's a lot of authors who have some really good backlisted romances. You want a book that has a female chef or baker or some kind of cozy element to it. And I added the cozy element too because sometimes it's not a cozy, but it has a cozy feel. So I wanted to make sure I included that. A book published by an older Black woman or an older protagonist maybe is in the book. A spicy or paranormal or erotica. Listen, that's your business. That's your business. And then a book written by a Black woman. It's literally a little bit of repetition in the book, in these prompts as well, but you can definitely find books as well for this. And then for Noir Apothecary, you want a book that has a pun in a title, or a misjudged death, or a pet involvement, or amateur sleuths, or small town involvement. And again, the free space pops up again. Really, I want you to be very creative with the books that you're finding, and I hope that you find books that leave you to authors who are new to you, or to remind you like, damn, I was supposed to pick up a book and read something from that author or something. I really think that you can really be as creative as you want. And also, I want to let you know that because July Noir is so small this year, even if you finish one book and it has a few of the prompts, you did it. Congratulations. I don't want you to feel like I didn't hit every prompt. The goal is to hit 5 out of 6, because if you hit 5 out of 6 of the prompts, or 6 prompts, if you want to use 5 or 6 in a location, just know that that can carry to Blackoween in October. What does that mean, Bree? In Blackoween, there is a title that is called the Grand Master of Blackoween. And in order to be the Grand Master of Blackoween, you have to have had the investigator thorough, or completed the investigator thorough in each location, in each of all 7 locations. So if you so happen to read a book or books that fit 5 to 6 prompts in a location that you have not explored already, you can carry that title of investigator thorough to Blackoween. That's a plus. But even just participating, hanging out with us in our sprints, that's all good too. Like, I'm cool with that as well. I too might be only reading one book, and I'm hoping that I choose a book that's not super damn long, because I keep doing that to myself in readathons and not being able to finish it in the allotted time. So I'm hoping that I can read a smaller, more like manageable book. I'm really hoping to find a few comics to hit some of these locations for myself personally. If you're like, oh, what counts as like a book? A comic, a children's book, middle grade, graphic novel, a novel, of course. Those work. All of those work for me. So get on it. I hope that you would join me, Nell, and Kita the weekend of July 10th through the 12th as we read for July Noir weekend edition. And I will see you guys on the next video. And I will also put the link to the July Noir Discord. It's the same Discord. I didn't change anything about it. I didn't want to make a new Discord. It's just the same one. It's just a little weekend of fun. And I can't wait to see you guys. I can't wait till we participate in this. And it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time, because I'm also really excited for you guys to meet some of the new hosts for Blackoween in October. And with that, y'all have a spooky rest of your day.